I'm Jeff Pospisil, the 10-Minute Treasurer, with practical advice for improving your church's financial future. In this video, I'm going to talk about how the CARES Act gives back to givers. One of the provisions of the CARES Act that I kind of either forgot about or just don't remember hearing about was um, how the CARES Act provides a tax benefit to those that give to charity. And so I'm going to tell you about that, and I'm also going to describe how I might use it if I was leading a church. So as a little background, back in 2017, President Trump signed some tax reform and it did some major changes. And one of the biggest changes is this. The percent of people who itemize their taxes really greatly reduced. You can see from this chart that the number went from close to 30% of people were able to itemize down to 12 to 13%. And since the only way to write off your charitable contributions is to itemize, there was a lot of question marks. Okay, if 87% of people aren't able to write off their charitable contributions, what will that do to charitable giving? What will that do to their own taxes? And then what made it even more complicated is that because the politics around it, people were blind to the numbers, blind to the math. And I just remember even back in 2019, after I filed my 2018 tax return, I posted that I had seen something like a 60 or 70% reduction in my income taxes. And people, had a gut reaction. My taxes went way up or went way down or whatever it was. And I would ask them, what were the numbers? And a lot of them hadn't even filed their taxes yet. So they really didn't even know. They just had a gut reaction to it. Even when I challenged them, I said, look at your line 63 total tax from 2017, compare it to your line 15 total tax from 2018. And what is the difference? People just couldn't do it because the politics involved. And that's sad. And then even when we look at charitable contributions, people were expecting that charitable contributions would go down if people couldn't write them off. Well, if you can do math, you don't give $100 to save $20 on your taxes. You give $100 because you want to help something, and the $20 is a benefit. Maybe it helps you give more. Well, charitable contributions, I think in 2017 was right around 420 24 billion, something like that. I looked this up at Giving USA and I don't remember the exact numbers. I'll post a link in the description. Um, but then in 2018, it went up like a slight amount. It went up to like 430 billion or something like that, just a slight amount. And then in 2019, it went up to almost 450 billion, so a more sizable increase. So giving to charitable causes keeps going up, and I think part of that is some of us saw big tax savings and were able to give more. So, so throw that all out. That's just background information, but the issue was 87% of people were not able to write off their charitable contributions, and now it'll be 100% of people will be able to write off something for their charitable contributions for 2020. So the first one is the CARES Act will allow that 87% of people that don't itemize, myself included, to write off up to $300 of charitable contributions. So that's not a bad little tax benefit. That'll reduce your taxes by, for most people, 36 to $66. It's not a lot, but it is something. The second change from the CARES Act will really only affect a much smaller percentage of people. It'll be those people that are itemizing their taxes that are giving out of their wealth. And before, when they were writing off their charitable contributions, they were limited to 60% of their adjusted gross income. So they were limited to giving away only 60% of their income. And I know people that this is a burden because they would like to, because they're giving out of their wealth, they would like to give much more. And so this actually allows them for 2020 to give up to 100% of their adjusted gross income. So again, that's a big increase for those people, allowing them to give much more generously in this time of need. And how would you use this information to encourage giving? Well, here's what I would recommend. And let's start off with the $300 one. I would send a very targeted message, and here's who I would target. I would target those that have not given $300 so far for the year. And looking at their giving history, they don't make big year-end gifts. So your financial secretary could put together that list for you, and then in the message, I would lift up some specific things about what good has happened in 2020 through the church and what you're looking forward to in 2021. And then you would shift and say, it's come to our attention that the CARES Act allows people to write off up to $300 of charitable contributions. And we just think it would be great if you were able to take advantage of this tax benefit and give, you know, a $300 or really any size gift would be very beneficial to the work of Jesus Christ through our church. And this is an idea I'm stealing from Thea Risa, but if you send a letter, include a return envelope that's stamped, and you'll get a much greater response. Or if you send it just as an email, include that link to pay online or give online, and that'll at least help encourage a higher percentage of people that would respond to that. And the next thing I'd recommend is that you would also do some kind of a public service announcement, whether it's a post on Facebook or you do an email to your congregation as part of your regular news. And I would include that and I'll include a link to the news story that tells about it, and that would be the link that I'd probably end up using too. That way you can let those people that are already giving over $300, they'll have some comfort in knowing that they'll get a bigger tax benefit from that. And then also that very small subset that is struggling, only giving 60%, maybe they haven't heard about it yet, and they could plan their giving around that, and that might be a good way to help alert those that just aren't aware of this. All right, I hope this has been a blessing to you. Again, this is a ministry of the Finance Office of the Dakotas Conference and the Dakotas United Methodist Foundation. And as always, I encourage you to like, subscribe, share, and leave comments. All right, God bless you.